Good day, friends. Wayne Elliott here from Strauss Naturals Company. I started out a customer and ended up a majority owner and president of the company. After saving and changing my life, I've been involved with Strauss now for 30 years. And the most profound thing in my life was finding the Strauss Heart Drops, or they found me. And the most profound relationship in my life was that with Jim Strauss Sr., my dear friend, and lived with my family twice a year for a month at a time over the course of 6 years. And it was the greatest education I could ever have gotten about health, about nature, and how everything connects. So we'll get started. First, a bunch of just general health comments, and then we'll get into a little bit about the formulas. I'd just like to say to start, the Strauss Naturals formulas do not contraindicate with any pharmaceutical drugs. They are as different as natural herbs, natural foods, and man-made chemicals. They really have nothing to do with each other. The formulas support our body and the body's systems and organs to do what they're supposed to do. They all have a cleansing effect. It turns out that clean tissues are the most important thing we can have. And the average of us, it is said, has 30 pounds of wastes and toxins in us. So no contraindications with any pharma drugs folks may be on. In 46 years commercially available, there has not been one complaint to the US FDA, Health Canada, or the Strauss Company about a serious side effect or any harm coming to anyone. Not one. Not one in all these years, 46 years now. The Strauss formulas are 100% natural. It's all natural herbal ingredients. And your satisfaction, should you purchase a formula or formulas, is 100% guaranteed. No one is cheated for their money if they're not satisfied. That's been a Strauss policy since the beginning and always will be. Now, just for some general comments I think are very important to all of us. We need enough good water. Our body is apparently 62% water. Our lungs are over 80% water. So it is just highly important that we get enough good water in the course of a day. The best way to start our day is with a large tumbler or two of room temperature or even warmer water. Our body has to warm water to our temperature, 98.6, before it's useful to it. And to get it by other means, other types of drinks and so forth, means our body has to separate out the water before it can use it. So great way to start the day. It's even greater if a fresh lemon is squeezed into the water. I also put my granular vitamin C in that first tumbler of water in the morning to start my day. Dehydration is a very serious Schedule A disease. It can kill us. So you do not want to be dehydrated. It causes many things from constipation, and keep in mind death starts in the colon. So you don't want to be constipated in your life. You want to have bowel movements daily, just like the bears do, as Jim Strauss would say. And if you have, especially through the wintertime, cracked lips, dry hands, your hands can get cracks and sore. This is an indication of not enough water. And I don't think there's really anyone that should have less than 6 or 7 glasses of water a day. I certainly try and do that. And there are days that I certainly don't drink enough. You almost have to make yourself, unless you're just that thirsty, make yourself drink that water. There's no downside to it. You would never stay in the kitchen long if you never took the trash out. Our body is as amazing as the human body is. It really is the same. we don't want to store poisons and toxins and waste inside us indefinitely. And so water is highly important, whether you like it or not. It's just so important to drink, and the best way to start your day. For stomach ailments, including ulcers, the very best thing you can do is eat European sauerkraut. It is the best probiotic. There is no probiotic sold over the counter that is anywhere near as effective as fermented vegetables, and especially fermented cabbage. It's important that there's only 2 ingredients. You do not want sauerkraut made with wine or vinegar. It can be harmful to your stomach. So the 2 ingredients are green cabbage and salt. That's it. And it's amazing that if you have a couple of forkfuls of sauerkraut before every meal, even a snack, a cookie and a cup of tea, a couple of forkfuls chewed well, you'll actually have a new stomach lining within 10 days. It's kind of amazing how nature works, but our stomach lining is sodium, and there is nothing like European sauerkraut. For Crohn's colitis, the inability to digest fiber, it's a very serious ailment. Some people get very, very skinny, too lightweight. And ironically, there's only one fix. The very thing that we can't digest is what we need. That's fiber. So it's a pretty simple fix. You need 2 things. You need digestive enzymes, vegetable enzymes, which when you swallow your food, help break it up, help do the job, help the job of our digestive system. And for a period of time, and that's something that someone likely should stay on. They're not very expensive, just digestive enzymes. The one I take is called super enzymes, and take them before meals. The second thing you need is a blender. And for a period of time, in my experience, 3 to 4 weeks, anything you're going to eat, roast beef dinner, pasta and meatballs, anything you're going to eat, you put into the blender. So it's like baby food. It'll taste the same, but it does so much work ahead of our digestive system. Digestion starts with saliva in our mouth. So to eat fast, swallow chunks, we're likely causing ourselves problems. We're meant to liquefy food, and it's just very important. But that all-important fiber, that's the way to get it, is number 1, digestive enzymes before eating, and number 2, putting the food in a blender. Most people will not have to do that for longer than 3 or 4 weeks before they can start eating food normally the way it comes. There's one exception, even not to put in the blender, and that's apple skins. You must peel. If you want an apple, you should peel the skin of an apple, whether you're going to blend it or just eat the apple. This is if you have Crohn's colitis. So it's a pretty simple, economical fix, and for a very serious ailment. I've known people that have even had transfusions once or twice a week because a couple of young ladies never stopped bleeding with this disease. One young lady got down to 80 pounds before doing as I've just told you, and in 2 weeks she gained 12 pounds and overcame the ailment. Weight loss. It's very important for anyone who intends to lose a lot of weight. I would say more than 25 pounds, especially. And certainly if you were a person 300 pounds that had a goal of 200 pounds, it is vitally important that you, at the same time or before, there's nothing wrong doing it during your weight loss program, but detoxing, cleansing with products such as the Strauss products. Otherwise, if you reach your goal and you have not detoxed, you reach your goal of 200 pounds, and you started out, if you only had 30 pounds of waste and toxins when you were 300 pounds, chances are you'd have more because it's the average person that apparently has 30 pounds. But let's just say the 300-pound man or lady has 30 pounds in them and gets down to 200 pounds. Well, you've just gone from 10% of your body mass being wastes and toxins to 15%. And if you think about it, I'll bet you know someone who lost a great deal of weight. They didn't look good, often blotchy skin color, red blotches, not even skin color like we're meant to have, proving that blood is getting to our skin and everywhere else it's supposed to get. So it's just very important to do this during or before your weight loss program. And many folks get sick and die. You're just not meant to increase your wastes and toxins by 50%. And continue to be healthy. There is a product that I use, tested this years ago with my mother who was diabetic. I'm not, so I don't test my blood, but my mom did a couple of times a day. And I'd heard these green coffee bean extract. That's all this is green coffee beans. Strauss doesn't sell it. You'll have to order it online or at a health food store. This is the one that I take is 500 milligrams. And what it purports to do and is proven to do is help take sugar out of our blood. And my mom's results were amazing. It used to be if she had a piece of pie or cake, her blood sugar would go to 14 or 15. After taking this green coffee bean, my mother and I did it together, started in Florida, her sugar would go to 7 or 8. And so it's quite effective. And it's also very good if you're trying to lose some weight, taking that sugar out of your blood. That's green coffee bean extract. We got to chew our food well, and that's all important. Everybody knows that, but we're in a rush. I used to eat very fast. If you have heartburn or indigestion, slow down, take digestive enzymes, and watch that digestion and heartburn go away. Exercising and movement. The Creator gave us arms and legs for a reason. If we're too idle, we're sitting on the couch all day and not doing anything, no stretching, not much moving around, our muscles can dry and atrophy, shrink, and then you may not be able to stand up straight or do many of the other things. So even if all you can do is go out, if you're lucky and you have a garden, and get on your hands and knees, pick weeds and pick your produce for 20 or 25 minutes. You can stretch in bed before sleep, when you wake up. It's just a very good thing to do to keep everything working the way it was supposed to work. So another very important thing to stretch is our throat. It is said that about 45 to 50% of all colds and flus and so forth starts in our throat. And if you think about it, we seldom look up. I'm looking straight ahead at my laptop right now. We look down a lot, watching where we're going. Hardly ever do we look up. And I suggest that you practice this once or twice a day. It's amazing. If you have a sore throat, it'll be less sore after a minute or two of this. So you'll look up, stretch your throat, make funny faces so that you're stretching all the muscles. Do this for a minute or so at a time. It's a very important thing to stretch, as is all our other muscles. We're meant to use our limbs. Strauss always said, if you're not made from it, it cannot fix you. And although they do not claim to fix you, the pharmaceuticals, they basically deal with symptoms, blood pressure, deal with your numbers. If they did work to help and fix you, you would get to quit taking them at some point. Rare, if ever, is the occasion where someone is taken off their medication because they're doing better. I don't believe I've ever heard it from anyone. Your blood pressure is great now, Mrs. Smith. You can quit taking the drugs. That doesn't happen because it doesn't go to the problem. And to expect man-made chemicals that weren't around when we were created to fix us, Jim Strauss would say, is like taking our automobile to the lumber yard to fix with 2x4s and plywood. It wouldn't work. You need materials the vehicle's made from, metal and galvanized steel and plastic and insulated copper wire and so forth. You need what the vehicle's made from to fix it. We're no different. We need the same cells that we're made from to help our bodies heal itself. And that's natural foods, which there's less and less of every day. That's why there's never been a more important time to supplement. Strauss does not make vitamins or minerals, but you're wise to take them. Our soil's depleted. If it's not in the soil, it doesn't go into our produce. If it doesn't go into the produce, it doesn't go into you when you eat them. There are so many chemicals as well. So it's genetically modified foods, man-made foods, and we are surrounded by chemicals, including all the plastics. Our foods and produce is sprayed with insecticides, pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, oftentimes chemical fertilizers, and oftentimes chemical preservatives because they ship produce all over the world from where it's grown. So if you're not made from it, it cannot fix you. And we need cells that we're made from. And it's just as simple as that. So look to nature once again. Nature had everything perfect and has everything perfect. And everything we've ever needed is provided by nature. As I said, with all the man-made foods today, so-called foods, frankenfoods, some people call them, there's never been a more important time for the likes of vitamins and minerals. As I say, Strauss doesn't make those, but you can bet I take them. And I take all these cleansing formulas. The Strauss heart drops were the first I took and what saved me. I had a heart attack at age 35. That's over 37 years ago. And boy, oh boy, I'm so grateful for that. I'm still here. I'm doing well. No more heart issues. I have a very strong heart. It just turns out that we need blood to flow in every one of the 60,000 miles of vessels inside each of us. That's hard to believe. It's almost impossible to believe, but it's true. More than twice around the earth, each of us. Many of them you can't see. They're so tiny, feeding your skin and so forth, but 60,000 miles of vessels, veins, arteries, capillaries. That's because every single cell in our body, from the hair on our head to our toenails, and every cell in between needs blood. We tend to think of heart and brain, heart attacks, strokes, or brain attacks, all caused from a lack of oxygen. Well, our bloodstream is the only transportation system for the likes of food, waste, wastewater, medicine. All of it must travel in our blood. The other system is the lymphatic system, which carries immune cells, but everything else, including that life-important oxygen, travels in our blood. So it is the most important body function, and it is the reason that we have 60,000 miles of it inside each of us. And the thing is, when we're healthy, it's human nature, it seems, we humans think that these serious ailments will happen to someone else. Well, that works okay until it does hit you. For example, men, more than 50% of men over age 60 will have serious prostate issues in their life. Serious issues, prostate cancer and the like. So to assume that it'll be someone else, if you've got a best buddy, the odds are that one of you is going to have serious issues. So it doesn't just happen to other people. And of course, prevention is worth its weight in gold. My dad, after Boston Medical telling him he needed his prostate removed, went on the Strauss formula, prostate formula, for 3 months, and they canceled his prostatectomy. My dad lived another 13 years and died with a healthy prostate. The same thing with his heart. He had a angioplasty. That's the balloon treatment. It's kind of a temporary thing to try and increase blood flow in severely blocked arteries. And he was booked for open heart surgery. 3 months on the Strauss heart drops, and Boston canceled that surgery. And my dad never did have it. He lived another 17 years after that and never had a heart issue. I was lucky, and I know it's the Strauss formulas that helped me both after that heart attack and since. I had COVID 3 times, and then I got myocarditis, very serious inflammation of the heart. That was tough. I realized how that killed so many people, especially elderly people, seniors. It was tough, but all I took, so help me God, it was the Strauss heart drops, Strauss kidney formula, and the Strauss Cardiocom formula. Because I had after the heart attack, I developed an irregular heartbeat and high blood pressure. So just fabulous natural formulas that Strauss makes. And I was 5 years after that heart attack and when Strauss found me. So I was the luckiest guy in the world. And I'm just so grateful. I'll mention something else that we and I have nothing to do with, Strauss, is the Mopet formula for our pets. And a very intelligent young lady whose parents were both veterinarians specializing in horses. So a very intelligent, young, educated lady started this Mopet. You can contact them at mopet.com. We all love our pets. And that's a great thing. They're wonderful things to have, dogs and other pets. And the focus of the Mopet formulas is the gut. And it's just as important to the animals as it is to us. There's a lot of stuff happens in our gut. And so I just mentioned that, mopet.com. You can see for yourself. I highly recommend it. I love to help people, whether it's Strauss related or not. So, and I know how much we all love our pets. I've had dogs my whole life. And so economical, very good way to help your animal if they have skin irritations, rashes, ear troubles. Try the Mopet formulas. Another thing that I love, again, Strauss has nothing to do with, is the oxidized silver. What that is silver, the world's best bug killer, and oxygen, the world's best cleaner, bonded together. So it's oxidized silver. It is incredible. I use it like a mouthwash at night. It removes plaque from your teeth. I spray it in my eyes every day. I'll show you right now. You could spray it in a baby's eyes. There's no harm. It's very cooling. And if you do have dust, itchy eyes, something in your eye, try the oxidized silver. It's available at all health stores. And again, Strauss has nothing to do with that. Stress. Everybody seems to know that stress kills. And it can mimic so many things. People will think they have or having a heart attack, for example. It just affects us in so many ways, stress does. And anything that you can do to de-stress or not to stress, exercise is a great one. I've never regretted going for a walk or riding a stationary bicycle or going for a bicycle ride in my life. I've never regretted it. It just seems to really help the physical activity. It doesn't have to be strenuous. It could be a stroll, just a nice, easy walk. It's just very good for us and helps with that stress. And, as it turns out, 90% of the things that we worry about and stress over don't happen anyway. So to worry in advance and put our bodies into that fight or flight scenario just isn't good. Because if we choose to flee, that's our immune system fleeing, and we're more defenseless. So stress is not a good thing to deal with. Anxiety. The Strauss Cardiocom formula, Health Canada told us about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, that if we added a little bit more skullcap root, it was already one of the ingredients in the formula, that we could claim it as a calmative for anxiety. Just before that, I learned that we have people taking it for anxiety, including one of our own staff members at the time. And it just has a very good calming effect. It was really made for two things: to help the body repair damaged heart cells and for irregular heartbeat. That's why I took it. And boy, did it work. And many football players have trouble. Heart is our pump. And it turns out with things like football, where you're torquing your heart to the max, 75 or 100 times in the course of a practice or a game, and heavy weightlifting, bodybuilding. These are things that really, football players that play an average 5 years after high school in the down line positions live an average 10 years less than the average male population. We wear our pumps out. So that Cardiocom is a wonderful formula, both to help you with irregular heartbeat. If you have damage to your heart cells, it just helps the body do what it knows how to do and supports it to do what it's supposed to do. The Strauss Heart Drops are our flagship product. Ironically, since the Strauss family is 8 generations of medicine men and women and master herbalists, the Strauss Heart Drops is really our newest formula, 46 or 47 years old, made by Jim and Peter Strauss for Jim Strauss after a massive heart attack. They wanted him to have quadruple bypass. He didn't do that, went back to Kamloops, BC in a medical helicopter. Had so much pain he couldn't lay down and he couldn't walk for the angina pain. So from an easy chair, him and Pete, they always had herbs. They've been medicine men their whole lives. They figured out what they needed. The hospital told Jim what the problem was, this plaque and blockage of vessels and arteries. And in one afternoon, with a gram scale and chewing, they created the formula. And it remains unchanged all these years later. In 2.5 weeks, Jim didn't know how much to take. So it turns out he was taking what we would consider today a 3-week supply. He was taking it every day. You can't overdose or hurt yourself with these formulas no more than you could harm yourself with eating rutabagas or asparagus or pears or peaches. Your body knows what to do with natural substances. It's not the case with man-made chemical drugs, mind you. You have to pay very close attention to your dosage recommended. And please, if you're on pharmaceuticals, read your paperwork, paying particular attention for potential serious side effects and harmful effects. That way, if you're suffering any of them, you can tell your doctor and he or she can act accordingly. They might change your pill type, they might change your dosage, but if you don't know and you're suffering them, you can harm yourself. There is no harm with these herbal formulas. There's no overdosing possible. And these Strauss Heart Drops are they're something else. There's nothing like them in the world. I owe my life to them, and I'm just forever grateful. Of course, they've become the leading seller of the Strauss formulas, sold in 7 countries in the world so far. And it's just the greatest reward in the world is helping someone with their health, even someone you don't know. I don't meet most of you people. I don't meet the people I speak with on the radio. But just knowing every time someone gets a bottle, I just feel good about it. And it's wonderful rewards. The Strauss Heart Drops, it's like a detergent to help clear congested arteries. And I compare it to like Drano for a plugged drain sink or bathtub. Because really that is how it works. And it helps with varicose veins. It helps strengthen our circulatory system. Excuse me, I'm dry. It maintains normal fat and cholesterol levels in our blood and helps flush unwanted toxins and heavy metals from our system. I had that happen myself. I had the heavy metal lead, and the heart drops did the job for me there as well. And it's just useful for most all heart issues because it not only helps increase our blood flow, the ingredients are just very good for our heart and the well-being of our heart. To read you the ingredients: aged garlic extract or oil, aged garlic, hawthorn berry, hawthorn leaf, cayenne pepper, bilberry leaf, motherwort, white willow bark, and European mistletoe. And the synergistic effect of these herbs together, there is just nothing like the Strauss heart drops. Don't be fooled that aged garlic capsules that are sold in China for $3 a bag. Yes, it's good for you. It sure can't hurt you. There's no doubt about it. Very good for you. But Strauss didn't put these other 8 or 9 herbal ingredients in there for fun, or it's because they were beneficial. And they sure are. Both my mom and dad lived good, long lives and were saved. I was certainly saved. I thought I was going to be the youngest family member to go with heart after that heart attack at age 35. Garlic is shown. There's so many studies. If you go to pubmed.gov, you can see all this. There's hundreds of studies on aged garlic, and there's just many studies. These herbs have been around for centuries, used long before America was discovered by certain societies and cultures, and 2/3 of the world still relies on natural medicine. 2/3 of the 8 billion people. Garlic is shown to lower blood pressure, improve circulation. It aids in the treatment of heart disorders, circulatory problems, and helps detoxify the body. Protects against infection by enhancing our immune system as well. Hawthorne helps dilate the coronary blood vessels, lowers cholesterol levels, restores damaged heart muscle, useful for anemia, cardiovascular, circulatory, high cholesterol, and lowered immunity. Cayenne, fabulous medicinal herb. It helps improve circulation, aids digestion, helps repair the stomach lining, acts as a catalyst for other herbs. It's good for the heart, kidneys, lungs, pancreas, spleen, and stomach. An excellent stimulant and helps with cholesterol levels as well. These are just some of the formulas in this, some of the ingredients rather in this formula. And what we've experienced with folks with diabetes, where circulation is their biggest issue, has just been nothing short of remarkable. And I would certainly recommend it to diabetics. You don't need to take extra, but I suggest that you would take it for life. As diabetics are 400 to 500 times more likely to have a heart attack or stroke than those of us who are not diabetic. So circulation is just so important. And Strauss heart drops, there's never been anything like them on the market. And aged garlic alone are not Strauss heart drops. I mentioned the cardio support, Cardiocom formula, which is also, Health Canada says, a calmative for anxiety. But what it was really made for a long, long time ago was irregular heartbeat and helping the body to repair damaged heart cells. It's a wonderful formula. It works. It has ingredients including hawthorn berry, sarsaparilla root, skullcap herb, peppermint leaf, mistletoe leaf, and hawthorn leaf. Once again, your satisfaction is guaranteed. there are no dissatisfied Strauss customers that if they're not satisfied, at least get their money returned, 100%. Another great formula is the Strauss kidney formula, and the heart and kidneys, they work very closely together. They both have certain responsibilities with respect to our blood pressure, controlling our blood pressure. They both have the responsibility of helping take water off our blood. Very important in the likes of congestive heart failure and so forth. And they work so well together, the heart drops and the Strauss kidney formula. In Canada, it's called kidney blood pressure formula. In the United States, it's called kidney support. Just incredible formulas. They work together. The kidney formula has the following ingredients: juniper berry, uva ursi leaf, marshmallow root, goldenrod, parsley leaf, ginger root, horsetail, golden seal root, that's nature's strongest antibiotic herb, golden seal root, nettle leaf, gravel root, and lobelia. That golden seal root that I mentioned, that's also in the Strauss bladder formula and in the men's prostate formula. And it just helps our body to kill bacteria, which is a real issue in the male prostate and in men and women, male and female, bladder and kidneys. Bacteria is a real issue. It's stubborn. These areas of our body are more difficult to accept help. Of course, they're dealing with our urinary tract and so forth. And maybe that's why. And bacteria grows back very quickly there. So we urge people to be diligent and try not to skip a dose, but to take it properly. And everything is a double-edged coin or a double-edged sword. The upside is that within 7 days, whatever your symptoms are, incontinence, urgency, going to the bathroom too often, leaking, going too many times. We're meant to go 8 or 9 times a day and not 15 or 20. So it helps with all of that within 7 days. But for goodness sake, please take it a minimum 3 months, any of those formulas. If you have issues, you may have to take them for 6 months, but you want to do the job completely and properly. So you're not better in 7 days or less, but you will notice a difference. That's how effective these formulas are. That's the Strauss kidney formula. I mentioned both the bladder and the prostate. What's interesting is they have exactly the same ingredients, the bladder formula and the prostate formula. However, they are not in the same proportions. There's a great difference in the amount of each. But the ingredients in both are blueberry leaf, juniper berry, saw palmetto berry, birch leaf, corn silk, linden flower, nettle leaf, white willow bark, golden seal root again, and uva ursi leaf. All very effective, synergistically working to help us in these areas of our body. And urinary tract infections are very troublesome and annoying. Once again, Health Canada told us at the same time, almost 2 years ago, that if we added a bit more uva ursi and a bit more juniper berries, we could claim it as a solution for urinary tract infections. It worked before for them, but now we have the permission of saying that, and did add a little bit more of those that were already in the formulas. Now, the ladies' formulas, I love that we have these back. They're not new. They're just new in liquid form. Is the Strauss Menopause formula, night sweats, hot flashes. I know ladies, they'll soak the bedclothes and soak the bed every night, have these hot flashes that come on all of a sudden. It feels like you're in a broiler oven, just terrible. And this is our most complex formula. There are 20 different herbs in the menopause formula. And Strauss knew that since we're all like snowflakes, we're all different from one another, that they wanted this to work for our ladies, premenopause, menopause, postmenopause. So very, very complex formula. I'll read the ingredients to you. Blue cohosh root, black cohosh root, pennyroyal herb, squaw vine herb, raspberry leaf, cramp bark, uva ursi leaf, valerian root, lady's slipper root, ginseng root, ginger root, bayberry bark, lady's mantle herb, saffron flower, periwinkle herb, Don K root, blessed thistle, false unicorn root, sarsaparilla root, damiana leaf, licorice root, and lobelia. Our most complex formula, satisfaction guaranteed 100%. And amazingly, the Woman's Wonder formula, it's called. This is for our ladies and teens that struggle during the menstrual cycle. It's taken only 3 days per month. If a lady or young lady is regular with her cycle, the day before it starts is day 1 of 3. If you're not regular, the first day your menstrual cycle starts is day 1. You only take it for 3 days a month, and it's rare to need a second bottle. I can promise you that. In most cases, these symptoms, the cramping, the bloating, the terrible, keeps our young ladies from attending school sometimes, attending work. Very unpleasant. And some ladies take it for 1 month, 3 days, and don't need it again. A bottle will last for 9 days or 3 months. And as I said, it's rare to need a second bottle. That's the Strauss Woman's Wonder. If you or a loved one or daughter or sister is suffering with that, by all means, satisfaction guaranteed again. The immune formula is a very powerful formula, the Strauss Immune. And of course, it also has the golden seal root. And taken for 10 days at a time, it's just very effective, goes to the root of the problem and helps us out, the Strauss Immune Plus formula. Finally, the cold storm. Very effective for colds. I've never taken it myself. I've never needed it. But what we hear back is that cold symptoms are gone generally within 48 hours. People who told us that they'd have colds all winter, or the same cold that wouldn't leave them all winter, are not experiencing that anymore. It's just a great formula that works. Big selling formula, the cold storm. So if you or your children are having those issues during the cold season, try the Strauss Cold Storm. You won't be sorry. I think I'm going to leave it there for today, folks. And thank you for watching. We appreciate it very much. You can contact the Strauss Company directly, customer service at toll-free 1-866-478-2873. That's 866-478-2873. In Canada, on the internet, it's Strauss, Strauss, straussnaturals.ca. In the United States, straussnaturals.com. And my email address, if you want to communicate with me directly, is Elliott, WELLIOTT at straussnaturals.com. So thanks again, folks. Have a great day, and I hope you give it to yourself today. You won't be sorry. I want everyone to have what I got, and so I do hope you give it to yourself today. Thanks again, and all the best and good health. And please join us again anytime. Thank you.